Here's why we quit being Amazon sellers. So we started in December of last year, so December 2023. And when I tell you we went hard until March of this year, we were killing it, okay? We netted about $8,000, which was real good money to us because we weren't even doing it full time. Like, we weren't even doing it part time. It was just kind of like something we picked up because we knew it would be a way to like bring in money and to bring in good money. And we thought it was something that we were going to stick with until we got in it. So in December of last year, my boyfriend was like doing the research. He was like, let's do it. He found a wholesaler, ordered some skincare products from them, and the skincare products that we ordered were Neutrogena, so it required us to ungate it, which was no problem because the wholesaler was reputable. We had that invoice, and that's what got us moving and grooving on the platform. From there, baby, it's a hustle. And I'm here to tell you, if you don't have no hustle in your spirit, this is not for you. You will not be successful. So there were two different ways we were going about this. Retail arbitrage, which is where you go to different stores like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, CVS, Walgreens, and find a product that's either on clearance or cheaper, like drastically cheaper than what it is on Amazon, because you want to be able to flip a profit. So you need to know how much the product is selling for on Amazon, how much those Amazon fees are, and how much it costs to ship it, because all of these things will affect your bottom line. The other way you could go about doing this, number two, is online arbitrage, which is very similar to retail arbitrage. The only difference is you're using your phone, computer, tablet, whatever, to go online and research the deals instead of going in stores. Now, I will tell you, I preferred online arbitrage, and the reason why is because I'm limited on time. I do not have a lot of time. So going into the stores and having to like run around town looking for stuff just like wasn't my cup of tea. And then like having to navigate people because they in your business. And now Amazon selling has gotten so popular, a lot of people know what you're in there doing. So just like looking over your shoulders in your business, and I'm like, can I get some space? Can you just like back up off me? So I preferred online arbitrage because what I would do is at the end of my day, once I finished, you know, all my work, we ate dinner and we were just like relaxing on the couch, I would take about 2 hours and just research products, and I would find some, and then we had a spreadsheet and I would share it all on the spreadsheet. Now the thing with all of it, especially when you're doing, well, really when you're doing, well, no, both of them, but really when you're doing online arbitrages, you have to be prepared to move quick, because something can be in stock one moment, out of stock the next. If it's something that's really popular and they do a restock, you need to hurry up and get it. Or like the sale could end. You know, you just don't necessarily always know how long a sale is good for. Like, I remember there was a product that I found, and to this day I regret not buying it, because the next day, or like the next morning, I looked at it like at 11 p.m. that night. By the next day, in the morning time, the sale was done. It was finished. So you have to be prepared to move. For us, we realized it just was too much. We already have, at the time, my boyfriend was working a full-time 9-to-5. He works in his family's business. He's in the process of wanting to start his own law firm. We are landlords, and just the list goes on and on and on. And for myself, being a business consultant, doing website development and design, content creation, being an influencer, filming these lovely videos for you all, we just were looking for a way to have more passive income, and this just was not it. But I will tell you, if you have hustle in you, you will make really good money. Like I said, I feel like we were putting in a decent amount of time considering all the things that we had going. I feel, or not I feel, I know, if we were able to commit to this full time, that 8,000, we probably could have doubled and or tripled it in that short amount of time. And it was crazy because at some point during December to March, like an Amazon concierge person called us and they were like, hi, welcome like to Amazon selling. And the way they sound was just shocked by the amount of money we were able to make in such a short amount of time. And we realized once we kind of like slowed down a little bit, we weren't getting those phone calls anymore. But in us slowing down, we were just kind of realizing like it just wasn't it for us. And, you know, people will argue that if you're doing FBA, you know, it's more passive, but it's not completely passive, because FBA is when you do fulfillment by Amazon. So you still have to go out and do retail or online arbitrage. You have to label everything and ship it to the Amazon warehouses, and then they'll be responsible for shipping it once orders are placed. We were doing FBM, which is where you fulfill the order yourself. So when someone orders something, you are the one who takes it where it needs to go to ship it. And the reason we decided to start out that way is because we were just like getting our feet wet, trying to learn like the ins and outs of everything. And we were buying, besides that first wholesale order, we were doing like, I mean, we was buying a lot of product, but it wasn't like no 100, 500,000 orders when we were doing the retail and or online arbitrage. And some stuff would just be popping. Like it would be selling and then it would stop selling. And for us, we were able to return some of the stuff to the store, but had we sent it to Amazon, we would have had to get it back, and it would have been this whole thing. The other thing about that is you just like never know when the downslide will happen with the product. So there were some products where we were able to sell them for 2 or 3 times the retail value in stores. The problem is that new sellers would come along in the category, especially for things that didn't need to be ungated, like for things that, you know, anyone can sell and didn't require an ungate. It was the absolute worst, because sellers could come in and they just like would drop it by 50 cents, and then the next person would drop it by 50 cents, and the next person would drop it by $1, and you would see a product that you were able to easily make double or triple on end up right back at the original price. And it was so perplexing to us because we just genuinely don't understand how people were able to sell it for so cheap. We're thinking a few different things. One, they still was learning the hustle and didn't really understand what was going on. And 2, don't quote me on any of this. This is like my own opinion. But 2, I think that sometimes sellers come in the category that are a little bit more seasoned, and maybe they do that to discourage newer sellers. So they drop that price down, get you to stop selling it, because that was the other thing. In like the few months we were on there, you would see fluctuations. So like a product would be up, it would go down, it would come back up. And the problem is, if you don't have that product on hand, you're gonna miss out on money. And it could be a matter of 24 hours. Like there was a makeup product that we were selling and we were doing so good. We sold out right as it started to like come down, and we were like, we're not gonna buy anymore. And then all of a sudden, like a month later, it shot up, but it was sold out at the stores. So we're like having to like find ways to like piecemeal get this product. So we're getting like 3 from this mall and 3 from that mall and 4 from this mall. And like I said, it just was so time consuming. Do I know whether or not we were going about this right? I don't know. I'm just telling you what our experience was. Will we ever go back to doing it? Maybe. I don't know. But it just wasn't a passive enough form of income for us. And that's not even considering like the research you need to do to understand the different shipping options or the terms and agreements, because when you get safety claims, or you know, when I'm sorry, not safety claims, when you get returns or people saying they didn't receive their item, you have to file safety claims on that, and then go through the whole process of explaining either why they're not owed money and this, that, and the third, which that's very time consuming too. So do with that information what you will. I think that if you are a person who likes to go out and shop and pick up things, and this could be perfect for you to just bring in additional income, which I think is what a lot of people ultimately end up doing it for. And some people are just so successful that they're able to scale it enough to quit what it is they need to quit. For us, we don't plan on quitting our other things. This was the additional to that, and it just started taking up too much time. But I think in the meantime, since we were able to be so successful in the few short months we were doing it, I'm gonna post more videos just sharing like our experience, some helpful information, and hopefully it helps you get the bag too, because I see a lot of people are selling courses and they can hate on me, they can hate me all they want to. I'm just gonna share some of the information for free because I wish that we wouldn't have had to learn some of the things we learned in such a short period the hard way, because we did end up losing money. Pro tip really quick before I hop off, one of our best-selling items were hazmat items, and you have to be careful selling hazmat items when you're an Amazon seller. Not to mention, Amazon's fees were going up, shipping costs kept rising, and like I said earlier in this video, all of that stuff affects your bottom line. So there were like certain things that we were spending more money on to like ship and pay the Amazon fees than we were getting in return. So let's say, you know, if it was taking us like $6 or $7 to ship it and we're making like $3 or $4, it's like somebody getting rich, baby, but it ain't us. Another reason is how I mentioned with the hazmat items, being careful with that. There were certain safety claims that we submitted, and when I tell you, we read through Amazon's terms and agreements at nauseum, so we understood them. And that's really important for you to read through, because it's also how we ended up winning a lot of them, because we got into the nitty-gritty reading their own policy and then just like regurgitating it back to them. But that's how we ended up winning most of our safety claims. But there were some that we did lose, and we should have won them. And I think this is a tip I'm going to go into more detail in another video, but just make sure when you do your safety claims that you come with it with the first thing you say. So when you go to open up the safety claim, the first thing you say off the rip needs to be your best argument. And unfortunately, when we first got started with the safety claims, we didn't know all of the ins and outs and everything, because it's truly something you just like learning on the fly. And you could watch all the videos you want to. People only gonna share so much game and the videos for free. So some of the stuff we're learning on the fly, and then once we started getting the hang of it and we're trying to dispute those safety claims, they were like, we said what we said. But once we learned the ins and outs, it was like, we knew how to put our argument together, and we knew the first message we sent needed to be our best message. We was just like, we started winning all of our safety claims. But you still have to build, you know, you have to think about that, like as you're selling things, that you are going to lose out on money, and you just have to factor that in to everything. And the other thing too is ungating certain products just was like ridiculous. So we were following the rules, like we would buy from a reputable seller or wholesaler. We had that invoice showing the date was within the range that we bought 10 or more products. And there were just like certain things that we could not ungate. And there was like no rhyme or reason. I think it just honestly depends on who is reviewing your stuff, because when we did Nike, we got approved. We ungated Nike. We got approved. And my best friend was, you know, getting into this at the time. So we're telling her exactly what we did on the day we did it to ungate Nike. The next day, she like placed her order to like do it the same way we did it. Her order came within a week's time. She went to try to go ungate Nike the way that we did not work. She then looked up videos on Amazon, on YouTube to like tell her how to ungate. She tried all those ways, and the person basically was like, girl, if you ain't got nothing new to submit, we said what we said. So like, that was the other thing. I just feel like it's getting like more challenging to ungate things, to like sell in this space. And the problem with items that are already ungated, anybody can sell them. So those kind of items, you know, there's more people than selling within that category. And then what I said before about the price just fluctuating and a product being like a banger to being a dud just can happen, I feel like, more quickly with products that are like already ungated. I'll come back and share all the nuts and bolts and just everything that I can share in future videos. Any questions that you have, please drop them below in the comments, and also subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. And yeah, that's why we quit being Amazon sellers. It just, the income wasn't passive enough for us. All right, until next time, bye.